I'm Lianna Alvarez, your 2026 MLS Chair, and I am joined today by Georgia Purpura, our 2026 Vice Chair, and Brian Gordon, Principal of Applied Analysis. How are you guys today? Good. Glad to be here.
Doing great. Thank you.
Good. So we're talking about some stats and data today.
Definitely. Brian, if I could start, tell us a little bit about your history with Las Vegas Realtors and how LVRData.com came about.
Sure. Well, first, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. So our firm has been around for almost 30 years now. We've been tracking the Las Vegas real estate market, housing market, commercial real estate, all sorts of things that are happening locally. And we partnered up with LVR, about 10 years ago, started collecting more data and reporting and developing some of these standard reports, if you will, for realtors specifically. And then we've developed this online portal that I think has been pretty helpful for realtors as well.
Perfect. And what are some of the important reports that realtors can find in LVRData.com?
Yeah, look, I think probably the most important one is the monthly report of all the stats from Las Vegas Realtors that gets out. You read about it in the paper. All of that data, I think, is really important. It has things like, the number of closings that happened during the past month. What is the median price? How much inventory is on the market? What's the effective availability? All of those sorts of things, and includes trend charts and some information that gives a little bit of perspective. So I think that monthly report, tends to come out around the 5th, 6th, 7th of the month. I think that's where realtors go, and they grab that every month and share it with their clients. So I think that's kind of the most current, most relevant, most timely information. And so I think that's probably the one that folks are using the most.
Actually, we base our sales meeting on when your numbers come out. That's when we do our numbers. So it's a very, very powerful document. Besides the monthly statistical report, what other reports should realtors be paying attention to?
Sure. So when folks get into the LVRData.com portal, we've got that standard monthly report. We also have a quarterly report. It's called Facts and Stats as it relates to the overall economy in Southern Nevada. So what we found is that realtors, when they're talking to their clients, a lot of times they just wanted some of those key stats. How many people live in the Las Vegas area? What's the visitor volume to the community here? How much gaming revenue is generated? All of these sort of data points that maybe just aren't top of mind all the time because you're out selling real estate. But some of those economic indicators, I think, sometimes are helpful, particularly when you're talking with investors or clients from out of town. So it's that economic stats and facts report that I think is really useful.
Perfect. And so what is that economic and housing presentation that I know I've often downloaded from inside the portal? And I think we recently got a little inside snapshot at our general membership meeting as well.
Yeah, exactly. So we've been invited and very thankful to present at the general membership meetings and some of the other events you all have around around town, and even some hosted here at your offices. But that's really just a perspective on what we're seeing in the economy, what we're seeing in the housing market, just creative ways to look at some of that data, and some of the major developments that are happening in Las Vegas also I think is important. So we walk through a lot of that in our presentation, and then we just post it right up into that portal. And so you have access to that type of data and information. Again, maybe there's some highlights out of there to share with clients and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because it's, we often go to, the quick link to look at the housing stats, but it's always interesting to see how those tie in from, our city and the economy, and like you said, what's happening with developments, and kind of getting the full 360 view.
Yeah, I think just having that, sometimes we refer to it as the perspective, right? You're thinking about, how many people are moving into Las Vegas every month or every week or whatever period you want to track that over. It's really important because that's what's driving demand for housing market, right? So, how many people are moving in from California? We know that we've got a lot of these folks driving in from the state to the west, and that creates demand for housing. And so, having some of that information is pretty timely and helpful as you think through some of those presentations.
So I noticed that there's a map tab included in LVRData.com. What type of information is available in that area?
So this is kind of a fun one. There's just a visual that you can go to that's a valley-wide map for all of Southern Nevada, and what you've got in there is all the major projects throughout the market. So when you hear about, some of these big ticket projects that are being developed, the A's baseball stadium on the Las Vegas Strip, or you've got a major hotel casino that's being redeveloped like the Hard Rock, the former Mirage property on the Strip, or you've got some transportation infrastructure, you've got highway improvements happening. Whatever it is, we're sort of tracking all of that on this website. And so you can go on a map, click around, pull up the latest projects, see what the price tags of these projects are, maybe some renderings and images and those sorts of things. So a lot of times I think when clients are, asking professionals like yourselves, what's kind of going on around town, it's a good way to sort of just get some quick tidbits in terms of major development activity.
Absolutely. And it helps you express your knowledge in our economy, in the commercial industry as well, because that's the lifeblood of Las Vegas. So
exactly. And we're tracking right now, it's like almost $30 billion worth of major projects. So some of them are under construction, some of them are being planned, but there's a lot happening. And I think people just forget all of the great things that are going on around Las Vegas. And so it's kind of an easy one-stop shop to grab a lot of information about those major projects.
Perfect. And so just to reiterate, that website is called LVRdata.com.
Exactly. What we talked about earlier was just the fact that folks can get to that through that single sign-on system that you go to.
Yes.
I think all of you go into that matrix tile or icon when you're looking for homes and listings and all the stuff that you do every day. But there's other applications in there, and one of them's LVRdata.com, and it's just an easy click through. The single sign-on system gets you right in, and it's pretty easy and accessible.
Yeah, I know it's something I use. I look at it all the time, especially right before listing appointments or before I'm going out to meet buyers, because obviously they're coming to us because we're the experts, and being able to have that data and information, at the tip of your finger, the tip of your tongue, really does help to highlight to your clients that you have that information and the knowledge of the city and the growth and everything. So just a reminder, it isn't easy on single sign-on. It's one of the little widgets, and it's LVR data. It says on there as well.
Everything that you need is accessible from there. Spend some time, take 30 minutes a day, explore that area, and it'll be amazing at how much more knowledgeable you'll become on the residential and the commercial happenings that are going on in Vegas. So thank you, Brian. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Absolutely. Any last minute quick tips or something that you want to make sure everybody?
Gosh, I would just say, there's also a lot of just data in there. So for geeks like us, if you're interested, and I say us, I mean like me, if you're interested in doing a little bit of a deeper dive, there's some data tabs in there. You can go get more details and all sorts of other stuff. So feel free to get in there. And then if there's something that, I don't know, you come across that you're interested in and you don't see it in there, let us know. We're happy to sort of expand and develop and improve the product as it fits the needs of realtors. So don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Perfect. Well, I know both Georgia and I are definitely stat geeks.
Yes,
we love
for sure.
it. So that's why we're always looking at it. So we appreciate you being here today. And thank you everybody for your time. And make sure you go check out that LVR data little widget on single sign-on.